name is Troutix. And you brought him on board.
Welcome to Crackers Don't Matter. Crackers Don't Matter. I've got a mouthful of cracker at the moment. I'm Claudia Black. I play Erin Sun.
And here too is Ian Watson, the director.
And I'm eating Vegemite on Vita Eats, which is a very Australian snack. I have a question for you, Ian.
Mm-hmm.
For a member of the audience to sort of separate departments, what is a mark of good direction when you're watching it? What is a mark of good editing when you're watching it? How can
I think, like the two disciplines, directing and editing.
Yeah, for example, those two in particular.
If I look at a show, if I want to know it's well directed, I'll think how well the story's being told. You can see a beautiful shot, but if it doesn't serve the story... I come from a background of story is king, and if the story is well told through camera, acting, music, script, it's the telling of that story that defines for me whether it's well directed and if it's well cut, if they're cutting for the story. For example, in this scene now, Troutix is the new person on the ship and he is bringing a particular problem to the ship, so the storytelling is focused around his involvement.
But that starts with the director in terms of choosing a point of view for each scene, does it not?
And choosing where I place the camera, where I choose to put the camera to make that story work. But that I think is the heart of good direction. It is not the shot necessarily. It's not anything in isolation. It's many things. A part of which is acting, and that's why, as you as an actor here and I the director here, this is a good episode for us because it's actor-driven, and the storytelling is through the acting. And the story is this character has come on board the ship and his presence is making them paranoid and aggressive. So that journey of the characters that we know changing has to be carried by the actors. All I can do as the director is direct them towards it, but the actual playing out of that moment is the actor. So it's an actor's piece.
So without knowing actors personally, if you see their work on screen or on television, can you ascertain normally whether they're a good actor, a solid actor or not, regardless of the direction?
You can see good actors floundering when they're being badly directed. Part of it's too is the degree of relaxation, where you can see good actors can relax, but often bad direction or unpleasant set actually makes them, they don't act as well because they're not as relaxed.
Gigi Edgley and I were talking the other day about actors' preparation before a take for particular scenes, and she was worried that the crew didn't care that I needed a moment of silence. I actually didn't, but she thought I may need one to get into the scene. And she just came up and said, they don't care. And I said, it's all right, honey, I don't need it for this. But thank you for being, courteous enough to try and provide the atmosphere for me.
I think they do care if they know that... I think if you care, they'll care because they know you're caring about your work. I think it's for the director to tell the first that this actor needs a minute before we turn over. Or the actor to ask for it, depending on the scene, for people to be aware that this happens.
When I started as an actor, I was always so self-conscious that the crew would be sort of crossing their arms and rolling their eyes heavenward and tisking and saying, come on, get it over and done with, come on, let's get through the scenes. And when you actually do a scene that you're very committed to, they will take notice and they'll come up and say things to you, that they enjoyed it, or sometimes they'll forget to make a move with the camera because they've been watching the performance so much that they've forgotten to do something.
It's about respect. It's crew respecting each other's roles. As you respect the grip and the work they do, they respect the work you do. And at times you're waiting for the grip to set their marks or for the focus to get their focus. You're not tapping your foot or complaining about the amount of time. Likewise, they shouldn't with you.
I'm amazed by how much every department is navigated by rhythm, a sense of rhythm, and what one of our DOPs refers to as the feel. He employs grips who have a feel for the work, who just seem to have that magic instinct.
That's right. We're making drama. We're recreating life.
Do you trust him?
You seen him? He's blind. He's got a big head, but he's blind. Barring the Yoda factor, if he gives us any trouble, we lock him up.
But do you trust him?
Hell no, I don't trust him.
What do you think are the best notes you can give to actors in a generic sense? Apart
Not
from
to
relaxing.
Act. Not to act. A common note I do give is to say stop acting. Acting is behaving.
Reacting as well.
Reacting, it's behaving, it's being there. It's not you can't really give line readings, you can't really say do this or do that. It's an organic thing that comes from them, and you must use their instincts and their intuitions and their passions and their soul to project into their character, and you must at all times encourage that and engender that. So I say don't act, be there, listen. Acting begins with just listening and being there.
I mean, you forget to listen sometimes, and I can really feel it in a scene if I'm doing a tag scene with Ben or something, and we're tired and we've tuned out. We'll still actually be sensitive to what the other's doing, and that, in a sense, is listening. And you'll see some sort of simpatico. And
that's the magic. Two actors connecting by listening, and listening not just to the words, but listening to the nuance, listening to the deeper intentions, and we get the vibe of that, and we feel off that, and we respond to that.
That's why I love a two-shot, because you can actually see the two people relating to each other rather than it being done in the edit.
The effects are minor and...
I think as actors often undervalue the real meaning of listening and being there. It's not something that... Acting is not something that we can recreate in ourselves. It's something we get from the other person.
Oh, I feel good. Delight.
Oh, great.
2 fingers.
Thought you were blind.
I am, but my other faculties have compensated. I have developed an internal radar of sorts. I may never
This
be able
moment,
to read a database.
where he steps over the DRD, that he's a blind man except for the little window through his bellows, took us an hour not to trip over it or trip into the set.
With very nervous DRD controllers standing on the side, hoping we wouldn't destroy them.
Or tread on it.
How come you weren't up in command? Didn't you want to see the pulsar lights?
I've seen everything the universe has, Carton. Don't worry. I was listening.
And how do you feel about technical things like diction? I know that my mum and a lot of people from the old school days believe that they should hear every word, and it seems to be a Robert Altman and new directors that have come through in America who almost throw away, important lines in films.
I think we have to understand, otherwise for that split second we'll step out of the story and our brain will wonder, what did they say? Or we'll turn to the person next to us and say, what was that? In case we've missed information. So I think if you're going to have scenes where the dialogue's blurred, we have to signify to the audience that it doesn't matter what they're saying, so we don't step out. Anything that breaks the flow of the story, I think is unfortunate. The audience step out and that suspension of disbelief's been violated.
I've spoken to some directors who do it deliberately because they want the audience member to sit forward on their couch and say, what was that? And suddenly pay a new level of attention to the work.
If they're watching it by themselves, they might.
It's a big risk, though, because you can alienate people just as easily.
Bunk.
Well, he's not coming in here.
He wouldn't want to go in there, Cranky. All of his senses are heightened, including his nose. You might kill him without intending to. Oh, but, you might want to get back to the center chamber.
Why?
No reason.
What do you do, Claudia, when you're acting with someone, so just watching the puppet then, when you're not getting anything from them? Some actors it's called bubble acting. They're just in their own world and they're not listening. What do you do as an actor? Do you overcompensate, or do you try to just manufacture it in yourself?
Most of my work is done from an emotional state. So if I'm experiencing any emotion going through me, that's better than nothing. And if the scene can be told with the dialogue just telling the story for the most part, I'll allow the emotional current underneath to add flavour and spice to the scene. If the emotion that I'm feeling, if I'm getting nothing from an actor and that's inspiring anger and I'm supposed to be expressing feelings of love, things like that, it hasn't happened often, certainly not on Farscape. But
No, it doesn't. But hypothetically, you're on a show, you're a guestie or whatever, you're working and you're getting nothing from someone that you're meant to be doing a deeply emotional scene with. Would you say something?
yeah, if I felt it was safe and appropriate. There's a whole realm of, sort of egos involved on shows, and sometimes you'll go onto a show where the lead cannot be directed and cannot be spoken to and will not take communication, and you have to sort of employ an element and a level of psychology and find ways to talk to them. Sometimes now I understand why people often refer to actors as being like children, because sometimes you have to apply that sort of reverse psychology on people to get what you want. And I don't like manipulating people, but I'll find a way to connect with them with my performance to a point where they will listen to me.
So through the performance you force them into listening?
I try to, because as a person it may have a very adverse effect. Or maybe I'll suggest to the AD that the person might be tired and might want to go and rest in their trailer, and I'll get someone else to read the lines for me. Sometimes it's better looking at a polystyrene cup.
Yeah, the subtle politics of being on a set you're not familiar with, isn't it?
But I'll always do better work if I'm getting something from the other person, always. And I'll do much less work myself if I'm getting something from them.
Yes, unfortunately acting is not something we can do by ourselves.
Unless you're doing a monologue or a soliloquy. You always have to be doing it for someone else. If it's just an exercise in getting rid of a particular emotion or getting something off your chest, then do it at home. Don't do it for camera and for an audience.
Crackers so badly. I'll give your eminence crackers.
You wanted crackers? We've got plenty! You see? Now eat!
We used 3 different Rigels to put this scene together. There's a specially made head that we could stuff food into. There's the stunt Rigel, which was thrown down, and there's the Rigel we know and love, the animatronic head. So it's the sequence there's cut using 3 different Rigels.
Great shot, I love that.
There's something nice about a camera that speaks. There's something nice about a camera that talks and has an energy and its own way of speaking. Often the camera has to be back from the action to let the action play out, and it's more of an observational style. Then at other times you want the camera to be a player. At times the camera can actually dominate the play and be the thing that speaks the loudest. Question without notice, Claudia. You're on set, you're working against, there's a massive crew there, there's lights, the whole thing. What do you use as your point of concentration as an actor in a scene? What draws you in most and focuses your concentration?
If I can connect with what the character's going through, I have to do very little work. If it's a character-based scene, often, by example, the scenes between Crichton and Aaron, they often speak for themselves. So it's easy for me to enter into the scene. And Ben and I just work so easily and so quickly together that very little is discussed between us.
What do you focus on? Do you focus on just listening, just looking? You've got the crew around you, you've got a whole range of effects going off. Where is Claudia's mind and her point of concentration?
I have to know. I'll go through a whole range of things to make sure that I am ready to do the take. Sometimes it's just adrenaline. I was talking about this the other day, that the people in film industries are often crammers. I'm talking about this with Tony Tills as well, that we're the procrastinators who have to leave everything up until the last minute. So I work very well under pressure. That focuses my mind. It's like, there's no sharper mind than one that's to be hung the next morning. So that, the threat of being hung will really sharpen my mind. I just sort of have to remind myself that I need to earn my right, shot by shot, scene by scene, to be on this set and to play this role. And that sharpens my mind, the pressure that I put on myself without being psychotic about it. And, just feeling, if I understand the work, and I just create a sort of a silence inside my head before the take. So
that's your preparation?
Yeah, if I need to... My preparation and understanding the scene will help me to be focused. And as soon as the camera is about to roll, about a second before that, once people have moved away and stopped doing their checks on my costume and my face and my hair, I'll have about a beat to just suddenly draw in. I don't know what it is, because it's not about me. It's just a reminder to be in the moment and get ready to get everything in place simultaneously.
Do you have a method? You're talking about your preparation before your shoot and your place within the scene. Do you have a method, like when you're studying the scene the night before or the morning before? Do you bring a process, like an acting process, to the scene?
I'll use whatever I can to get the day shot and the scene done. So.
Do you go into a scene? This, for example, do you have an objective in this scene?
Sometimes I'll. Rarely. Normally, I'm so inside the character that I just walk in and I go by instinct about what I believe is necessary. Mostly intuitive and instinctive choices.
What if your intuition isn't giving you anything? What if you read it and you go, I don't know how to make this work? It's with another character. It's not something you're familiar with.
Then it may be something to do. Something that I haven't experienced before, therefore I have no emotional reference to it.
Not necessarily, but something you may not understand, or a character that you're not easily working with, that you don't necessarily work easily with.
Then I'd speak to the director.
Okay.
to find some way into it, to understand it. I'll try and find, I'll think about what Erin is doing to the character, what she may want from the character. I'll just ask myself a range of questions if it's not immediately clear to me.
This is how actors are trained. Actors are trained to ask, why am I in the scene? What do I want from the scene? Who, when, where, why about the scene as part of the intellectual process.
I talk about reading scripts for the first time as a virgin read. I need to have an uninterrupted session with the episode. I need to start it and read it in that 45 minutes or however long it takes to read without any interruptions so that I can respect the writer's intended rhythm of the story. That's the only time I'm ever going to be completely objective about it and see if I am personally carried away with the story and with the characters. And from there, it's normally incredibly clear to me how to play every scene. Also being able to incorporate things that are asked of me by the director or things that are presented to me by the other performers, which may change some.
So you have a strong view.
Emotion.
You read a scene and you read an episode and have a strong view of how a scene will play.
What I think was intended by the writer for the character.
So the writer's intention. So story is king.
Yeah. And often we don't have time. The writers may not have time to deliver a completed script for whatever reason, and we have to sometimes go into a schedule starting the first day of an episode without having read a complete episode. So then I have to really focus on making simple choices that will serve the scene without affecting anything. It's like pulling a thread on a jumper and it ending up on the floor. I need to make sure that my choices, as does Ben, that our choices will not affect the overall telling of the story. I know that some directors don't, like Woody Allen, don't give their actors any more scenes than the ones that they're in.
So they only know as much of the story that they contribute to.
To stop themselves from sort of making choices that may not be appropriate to their character. I always like to know, I regard the script, whether it's for film or television, as a tapestry, and I want to know what colour or colours my character provides. Then I'll know how much attention I need to steal on set. Whether it's, I deserve to ask questions of the director. If I'm playing a very minor support role, I'm not going to bother him at all. I'll just go and do my work until he or she needs to speak to me.
Erin's definitely hiding something from me.
What's been the best note the director's given to you?
Ooh.
What you thought actually crystallised for you the acting process or the process of being in a piece of fiction?
The only way to protect ourselves is to get off this ship. Gianna.
To listen was a very important note. Just to have the confidence to believe that if I stood there and actually listened to what the other actor was saying to me, the work would be done on my behalf. That gets you through a lot of trouble in a lot of scenes.
Because the danger is doing too much. The danger is being too busy, doing too much and trying to make a scene the only scene in the work, isn't it?
Exactly. And the other thing that I really do, which I think someone had articulated for me, is just fighting for the truth of everything, just trying to, aiming to make absolutely everything that comes out of my mouth truthful. Finding some reference in me that validates it for me so that I don't believe I'm being a con man.
Do you find an emotional equivalent to a scene? If you're playing a particular scene where there's a particular amount of danger or something, do you find an emotional equivalent in your mind by which to measure how to play that scene?
Yeah, I mean, the hardest emotion for me is fear.
Because you're not a fearful person?
Yeah, I've never felt truly afraid for my life, and I'm actually better at dealing with the big dramatic things in life than the small things. I'll overreact to pathetic things that happen to me in my life, but when it comes to the big things like planes about to crash, stuff like that, I'm actually very calm.
Do you think an actor has to have had experience something to play it?
Not necessarily, but I think in order to have respect for themselves as an artist, I think they'll feel better if they've experienced something like it, an emotion that's similar to it, then they won't. I mean, I've spoken to so many actors who agree with me that you'll be standing at some point on a set and think, holy cow, any minute now, someone's going to come up to me and say that they've realised I have no idea what I'm doing here. That sort of con man complex where you're worried that people are going to realise.
But that's the actor's imagination, to be able to take what experience they do have and add to it the imaginative belief that if they were, Stanislavski's magic, if this were to happen to me, I would react in this way. But if it hasn't, you have to be able to imaginatively make that leap and imagine what you would be like in an aeroplane about to crash. You have to be able to live through that to act something similar.
Yeah, I mean, I don't say, if I had to play a transsexual, which I've done before, I don't necessarily go and do research and talk to transsexuals or, do that sort of background work. If I had the time, I probably would to satisfy myself, but sometimes I just find it so easy for me to relate to the work itself that I don't need to do what I would call peripheral work. I just...
That means then this is good because it means that the text and the material is actually what's exciting your imagination.
Absolutely.
Rather than... Do you come from a literary background then? Are you literary in a lot of ways? Because that's a very literary approach.
Yeah, I don't read as many books as I should, but I'm very sensitive to storytelling and I like to write myself.
I'm getting that from you. Because it's that level of excitement, something we have to be excited by the material or the actor's journey or the character's journey in some way to enter it fully, don't you? So if you're getting it from the writer's intention and from the literary narrative, then that's terrific.
I don't regard myself as an imaginative person. I let the work that I'm reading inspire my imagination.
So in the same way, some actors, they take the narrative, then they have to research and they become inspired by the research, which then feeds back in to their storytelling. Two different approaches.
What about you?
I respond to... I have a literary background. I respond to narrative as well. I'll read something and have a strong sense of not necessarily how I'll see it, but how I'll feel for it. I'll get strong emotional reactions to the work. And like you, I have to read an episode in one sitting.
Interesting.
Unlike some directors, I don't see it. I don't see anything when I read, but I get strong emotional connections that then when I'm shooting, I expect to have those same emotional connections as I'm looking at it. And it's, again, driven through character. I sympathise and can empathise with all the characters in all the stories and know where they are emotionally. And then my journey is to try to refine that on set with those actors.
And is it normally do you think that the characters represent archetypal roles in each story that you've read?
Absolutely, and they're all archetypal aspects of myself. So each time I direct, it's to try to find those moments in other characters that I've found in myself and want to then get out of those actors playing those characters. I blur the line sometimes between where the characters are and the people themselves and where they are as different aspects of me and different aspects of story. A terrible state to be in, really.
Well, no, I mean, I've heard directors say that they need to find a way to find the leading lady lovable so that they can help direct the man who has to love.
You do have to enter at that personal level. I have to, if a character cries, I have to stand there on set and be able to feel those emotions that's making them cry because I'm the audience of one, but I can manipulate in a way to help that actor find the best they can by being there for them and listening and saying, well, I got what you're telling me.
So how do you know when you're watching it if it's your own emotions that you've conjured or the actor affecting your emotions?
I don't know. I hope it's the actor.
So do I.
I hope it's the actor affecting... Otherwise, I'm a very indulgent director. I hope it's the actor affecting me, and I'll say to an actor, that was good, and I can be genuine because I felt it. I felt, and it's come from... They've affected a part of me.
Would you rather not have to manipulate people? Would you rather that things... I mean, in an ideal world, would you rather that an actor came to set positive, receptive...
Yeah. There's a lot of game playing with actors' moods and with crew's moods and the whole feeling. And I like a very happy, positive, joyous set. I don't work off tension. I like actors, and I know for a fact that the more relaxed the set can be, the more relaxed the work is. But in a way, I find directing is that pursuit of the humanity of the characters, and every moment that I think's a diamond in the work is where an actor, as their character, reveals a human truth, one singular human truth. And if I can walk away from a day and know that in such and such a scene, that actor, through my help, achieved that, I think we've won on every level.
Shut her down. Lights, power, all of it.
I'm sorry, John. I cannot do that.
What? Pilot? Pilot!
Got a bit of a problem, Commander? Well, now you've got one more, because the only way you're going to get my weapon is if I...
What do you do if there's a big emotional scene that's going to be shot through most of the day? do you think that a truly great actor is capable of giving that performance over and over again in every different shot size in all the coverage? Or do you think that as a human that there's only a certain amount of work that actor can do before it's going to go stale?
I think like all of us, we have our reserves of energy and we have our limits to how much we can put out and allow ourselves to be vulnerable. And with large scenes, with any sort of actor, I'll just say to them, it's a big day and we'll pace it, and this is where your money shot is, this is where I expect, and you expect too, to show the emotion and to be there. And I do expect maybe to go several takes. I don't know actors that can do it time after time and it's truthful. I just think are extraordinary, and I don't think I've actually seen that.
It's a very weird thing being the instrument. It affects everything.
Yeah.
The lifestyle once you go home at night, when you come to work in the morning, if you have a bad phone call at lunch, it's going to affect you in every way, and potentially the instrument and therefore the result on set.
You are the stuff of the work. You are the thing on the. You tell the story more than any other element, than the camera. It's the actor that does that. That's why, again, I say from my point of view, the actor is the centerpiece of the work.
Did you ever think you'd be working with puppets?
No.
How do you find it?
I think Rigel, when he's at his best, is fantastic, and I have been known to be tied on set and actually walk up to Rigel and give him a note. And for Rigel to acknowledge me with a wink and a smile and then realise the crew are laughing at me because I've given a note to a puppet. I think it's a challenge. It's a challenge to make that rubber thing real.
And do you think puppetry is a very performing art that still has a place in our...
I hope so. When puppets make the inanimate animate, it's a complete sleight of hand, and I think it is just marvellous that they can do that. And I think when Rigel is at his best, he's extraordinary, and all the puppetry is extraordinary. It requires time and patience, and is often unsuited to this fast turnaround television. And there's often conflict between what we'd like to do with the puppets and what we can achieve. And it does take time, and it can be hard, but the results are often extraordinary.
I mean, we've had to be retrained on Farscape. On other shows, often the budget is the constraint, and they just say, no, it can't be done. And on Farscape, David Kemper asks us on a daily basis to find ways to make it possible. And just watching the puppeteers overcome their adversities, physical adversities, sometimes they're cramped into tiny spaces, and finding ways to deliver what's been asked of them.
Absolutely. I know of no show where more people are asked to extend themselves than this show. Everyone has been asked to just to extend themselves further. I think it comes from the top. It comes from people like David. And the standards that the actors have set, the directors have set, and we've all set for each other.
Down, boy. Roll over. Good boy.
Go on. Kill me.
I still think it's funny that the majority of crew members will, and often audience members, will be affected more by a scene where someone has been crying than any other type of scene. You know, you hear people talking when they walk out of a cinema and say, how about that guy during that crying scene? And it says a lot about oneself and how we respond to, emotional stories. And
I'll often read a script and ask myself, where is the pain? Who pains the most? And I think there's some way as viewers we live through other people's pain, and some vicarious way we exorcise our own pains and fears.
I don't like Italian. Don't be a coward. Kill him. Not me. Him!
we like to see in the story that it's possible for the pain to pass, or a solution that helps them get over it. It's also weird crying scenes because you have to, as an actor, do something that is not about acting. You have to biologically trick your body to do something.
Do you imagine
that
something
you wouldn't
sad?
ordinarily do.
You...
Or you can do all the cliches. You can think about your dead cat Fluffy.
I don't know, I'm starting to tear up.
Music's a really good trigger for me because I'm quite oral. So sometimes I'll play myself my own soundtrack just as the camera's rolling and they're calling speed for sound.
Nice. I've seen people with Walkmans on set listening to something and then just dropping the headphones and jumping in.
That's helpful. It can sometimes be difficult for other members of the crew or the cast if they want to try and contact a member, an actor who's getting ready. You need to allow people their space and time to prepare, but if you need to contact them because something technically has changed on the set and you need to let them know, it's hard to some people find it hard to contact people who've got, Walkman stuck in their ears.
Absolutely. I think in preparation, I've always said that preparation is a craft and performing is an art. And preparation is listening to that music, preparing your triggers, preparing how, when action is called, you can then forget that work, fall into the moment, and those triggers will automatically be hit.
I mean, yeah, ideally. I mean, I refer to all of my craft as my toolkit, and if I have to crack into it, I will. But I'd rather that the work takes care of itself, or that I can find an easy way into it, so I don't have to start, tinkering around.
That's good. Several times now you've said simple choices. The easy way, not meaning the easy by laziness, but easy choices. But I think what I'm getting from you is an actor that will make strong choices, not too many choices, but strong, clear choices that will generate the story, but not choices that are too idiosyncratic to carry the story properly. It's being appropriate. It's, Claudia the appropriate. In the nicest way, because it allows you to adjust to changes on set, to adjust to circumstances, to adjust to the fact that we're now going to shoot this scene in half an hour.
It's funny that you use the word appropriate.
But I think it makes for better. I think it makes for good work because it's uncomplicated work. And the trick with acting is, I think a lot of people look at it and go, "Well, that looks easy. I can do that." When in fact it's incredibly difficult because of the economy of what people are doing.
That's the question I ask myself all the time. What is, just talking to people or dealing with things on set before the camera's rolling, is what is the most appropriate way to communicate this fact?
And it can often mean the simplest, but then again, the simplest is the best. Keep it simple. And you often look at work and you go, that's far too complicated. And going back to what you said about what's good direction, it is simplicity. Often it is just the most simplest, and people like Robert Altman prove this constantly, that's often the most simplest choices are the best.
When I'm old, there is one thing I'm going to look back on with enormous pride, and that is killing you.
Aaron, he wanted me to shoot you.
It's interesting because when I think about my ambition and where I want to be and whether I'm happy where I am now, I'm quite hard on myself. I'm quite a perfectionist, but speaking about literary background, I will feel that I have made it, for want of a better expression, when I am working on scripts that stimulate me enormously from the point of view of dialogue that's been really brilliantly constructed. And we have such clever, witty dialogue on this show, which is almost impossible to achieve on our turnaround. So we're lucky that we have what we do. And that's scientifically, I mean, they're technical, and sometimes the science may not be, necessarily accurate, but it's, that's what we strive for every day, intelligent scripts. But, and for me, that's when I feel that I'm succeeding, when I'm handed a script to perform that is intelligent and it inspires me to do good work.
And the script process is rigorous. We often get the scripts late, but it is rigorous. It is passed over many times. And then on set, we're continually refining it.
No. But Dargo.
Well, I don't want to rest on my laurels and say that if I did good work yesterday, that's good enough. So it becomes a shot-by-shot dilemma, how to get into it and get out of it as quickly and effectively as possible. And I think that's what every department's aiming to do, because you're always reminded that time is somebody else's money.
But I think if you have too much time, you can over-intellectualise, as you were saying before, but it's about instincts, and often your first instincts are your best choice and the best decision. So it's often working at speed that you do your best work. I'm waiting to see. This moment here, that explosion, is timing the point of Ben's the muzzle of his gun with the explosion in the foreground, and then we've put the pulse blast, which is usually only 3 or 4 frames from his gun to the crackers. It's actually very complicated to see the execution of the shot and the result of the shot in the one. I think we do it 3 times in this scene. There's one I do in Rigel where we don't see the connection. That's it there. But the other times you actually see the blast and the hit in the one shot. And it's really just the timing of it, but it's quite tricky.
It's one of the reasons when I started on the show, even though I'm a girl and I don't know much about guns, it's really important for me, even though I'm holding a plastic pulse pistol, to believe that it is a weapon of destruction. And the best way to sell for the special effects team that it's a gun is to treat it like it has a kick, which it wouldn't really, because it's a laser.
But it's shot as if it's got recoil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it needs that for the audience to believe that it's a gun, I think, and it feels lame for an actor to hold something that doesn't have cause and effect.
Exactly.
What do you think about the theory that all characters nowadays are based on the archetypes that Shakespeare established?
I think it holds water. I think storytelling just has certain situations and certain characters that have been explored for centuries. I mean, there is nothing new, and there are so many, I think, 39 dramatic situations or something that have been defined. And I think the more literature becomes more fiction becomes mass-produced, like this show, the more we will search for those archetypes because they fill out drama better. But very much so. I think we can say, well, there's we know the trickster and the way the protagonist and the antagonist are defined.
Just thought of 2 other good notes I've been given. To enjoy it. I couldn't understand what someone said when they said to me, enjoy the work. I just started to enjoy what I do for a living a lot more, and I had more of a spring in my step and more of a glint in my eye, and started to enjoy the process of performing. And
this is why it's interesting to say that's why at auditions I'll say, because you're enjoying it because A, you're a working actor, and often actors don't enjoy their work because they're stumbling from job to job and thinking whether they're going to make it. So there's a tension and anxiety there, and often at casting or auditions you actually say to an actor, what have you been doing? And we often like to hear that an actor is working. The best I can hear is an actor says, I've been so busy, I've done this, and I've just rushed here for this audition. And you invariably find their work is better because they're more relaxed, because they're happier, because they're working, as opposed to the actor that hasn't had an audition call in 2 months and comes in a nervous state and can't really relax enough or be happy enough to fulfil the role.
yeah, I had to go to a drama school recently and talk to them about working on shows like Farscape, and someone had said to me, oh, look, I have a really big audition tomorrow. What advice would you give me? And I said, to claim the space and claim your time, and don't walk out of there with any regrets. If you feel that you haven't done it well enough and that you genuinely can make it better, then ask them for one more go.
Absolutely. I completely support that. And if I'm auditioning and an actor says, and I go, thank you, that was good, and they go, I've got another one, I've got another take in me, do you want to see it? I'll always say yes, because an actor, I feel, has to leave the audition as if they have given me their very best. Otherwise, they are unsatisfied and I may have not seen something.
Auditions are absolutely terrifying. And I got to a point where I got quite professional at auditioning. And I thought to myself, as I do with my work here, make it as simple as possible, make choices. I used to rack my brains over what was the right choice to make. What if I sort of play the character too happy and all the director wants, who may not be in the room on the day, is for the character to be played a different way. You just have to pray that the director has the imagination to see you being capable of doing it another way.
You must make choices. You can't turn up an audition and think, I have the talent, I will just be there and the director will tell me what they want or what they want me to do. You must make choices. You must go in there with an idea and play it. Then the director can say, well, look, that's very good. Let's try this or let's try something else. But the actor that makes no choice makes me think the actor has no interest or no desire to play this role because they haven't brought anything from themselves to it. So you must make choices, and you must make active, strong, bold choices. It's not enough to wait to wait and be told what to do. That is not what actors are there for.
Yeah, and someone else was saying to me that they'll hear actors say, oh, this director wasn't an actor's director, but what he thinks the subtext of that is that this actor is lazy and hasn't gone out there and made the choices for themselves first. And I used to think when I first started that a director would come and talk to me about every beat of my performance. They don't have the time to do that. You guys have got so much to deal with.
And you're responsible for your performance. I will arbitrate on your choices and where required give choices or give direction, but I'm not going to show you how to play the role. It's not my job. I'm not a good enough actor.
I was always worried that I would in some way affect the storytelling in a negative way if I, beat by beat I was making the wrong sort of choices or adding the wrong flavour. But in actual fact,
that flavour's what's required. And if you are making inappropriate choices, you'll be quickly told. Or, you know what I mean? The director will say, well, I don't think that's right, and simply because the story doesn't demand it.
how often have you had to fight for things with, say, a production office, for things that you believe are important, or with a particular actor, and it's how often, would you say more often than not, the things you fought for are things you're very grateful that you did fight for, or...?
Fighting for is a funny thing. Often you don't fight for things, but you manipulate to get things. I don't take a fight out front. I'm not a naturally... I won't naturally fight up front. I tend to sit on things a long time, and I'll worry something into existence. I'll worry a production office into something I want. I'll niggle away with it. Likewise, I will worry an actor into submission. I will grind them down, is my way, which just basically means that my father once said, don't ever argue with someone who thinks they're right. And it's true, and if I'm confronted with an actor who is making such a strong stand on something, I'll slowly turn them around to what I think is the appropriateness. And often, again, if story is king, I can use the effect it's not what I want you to do in the scene, it's what the story demands, so it removes it off my responsibility and my need.
Never argue with someone who thinks they're right. That's like in hospitality, the customer's always right.
It's true, yes.
You're too weak, Triton! I will kill you! I will get the light and take over your ship and...
Just on the process, on the discussion of auditions, I think too a lot of actors feel that they go to an audition, they did a fabulous job, they often do, and then they don't get the role and they feel rejected. It's not that they didn't do well at the audition. It's not that they're a good actor. It's just they're inappropriate for that role. When I cast to the person, not to the actor. I assume if an actor's coming in and they've been working, that they can act. So when I audition, I actually audition the person who is that actor, because I get what that person brings to it, their particular humanity, their particular voice, their particular look. I get the themness. And that's what I'm after. I'll read a role and go, well, this person has a particular themness that I want to inhabit the character. So the actor that doesn't get the role, it's because that themness wasn't appropriate, not whether they're a better actor or a worse actor.
I've been given the note that when I go to auditions that I should stay in character the whole time. And I always wrestle with that because I wanted the director to be able to delineate between my ability to act and my ability to be myself, and they are enmeshed. But it's a cultural thing as well. If you walk in the door to an American audition as an Australian actor, for the most part, there will be prejudice against you being able to do the accent successfully.
Absolutely.
But in some cases, if you go in and do the audition with an American accent and then break into your natural voice, if you've won them over with the accent, they will then think you're a far better actor because you can do two different types of voices.
Absolutely.
It's a weird little game. It really is.
It's cultural. I find I like to get to know the person involved, and then I like to see them do the character or solve the character, as I say. And if I know if there is a deception involved, I actually don't like that because I feel as if I'm being deceived. But then it's a different situation in this country auditioning because we assume that
people are who they say they are.
And that Americans can't do Australian accents.
How did you come up with all that crap?
I don't know, Pip. It's just there.
Did I say anything awful, Gianna? You don't remember? No, Traltix triggered such a...
The midriff moved from series 1 to 2, didn't it, Claudia?
Up?
I think so.
Did the headlines go up?
The zip came down.
I invented that vest, actually, because I wanted to be able to sort of have times where Erin was a bit more girly and a bit more ready for battle. Now, we refer to this pony as the battle pony because when I would go into the Prowler and have the headset on, I needed to look like I was ready for action, and also when I did fight scenes, it was a good way to keep the hair back and also sell some of the punches. And now I believe...
My daughter refers to it as her battle pony. She's 6, and she had it on one day, and I said, you know, that's a battle pony. And now her school friends refer to a pony done like that as a battle pony.
Nice.
So that's now entered popular culture.
Hurrah! My work here is done.
One for the sisterhood.
I'm so proud of the fact that I have the opportunity to do what I'm passionate about at the moment.
We're lucky. We're blessed that we can actually do and get paid for playing what we like to do.
And I still have no idea what I'm doing.
Exactly. No one does.